everyone. Vincent J. Town here from Krazy Strain. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Sesh. Today we have the homie Chef Derek Upton.
How's it going?
What's up? How are you guys?
Doing awesome, man. Thank you again for joining us today.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you guys, man.
Of course. So, man, I know that you got something coming up here on 420. You want to talk to us a little bit about what you got going on?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to be a featured chef on the very first ever Chopped 420. That's going to be put out by Food Network. Yeah, man. It's it's a barrier that we're in this industry where we're trying to break. And we're starting to see it on national platforms. So yeah, April 20th on Discovery Plus, the Chopped 420, the first 5 episodes of the very first season of Chopped 420 will be ready and available worldwide. I hope it's gonna be a big thing, because Chopped is a hard show, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit is hard.
Sure, man. So can you talk a little bit about how that opportunity came about?
Well, it's funny is I've been in this cannabis world for 10 years now, and I'd say probably the last 5 years really hitting it hard on social media, building a brand and making a name. They both Netflix and Food Network show. They found me on social media on a hashtag. They were looking for cannabis chefs, and they saw my food, saw some videos of mine, saw some other TV things that I did, and so they reached out to me, and so yeah, it was kind of cool. It's kind of cool to be recognized in that way and kind of pioneer that path, and kind of redefine what cannabis needs to be, moving forward.
Oh, for sure.
So, and then also with all the Food Network and all that stuff coming on, where do you hope all that goes? Like what's your dreams for the show?
Well, honestly, like I want to be the pioneer for more shows like it. I've always told myself I want to be the Food Network of cannabis. I want to be. I don't want to be stoner culture as everyone sees it.
Right.
I want to be cannabis culture. I want to be something bigger and more than what all the stereotypical ideas of cannabis have been.
Yeah,
and I think that just being on a show like this is just proof that these national platforms are starting to understand and normalize that conversation and normalize cannabis in food. You know what I mean? Because I as much as I love cannabis, I believe in the medicinal value of it. I believe the things that it could do to the body when done right. And I think why wouldn't we put it in food? It only makes sense.
Sure.
And so I see the future of more TV shows like it that are more educational based. And so because I think education is lacking, and I think that's what's setting apart what I'm doing and what others like me are doing, is because we can educate on how the cannabis affects the body, and so I hope, my goal has always been to normalize it and make it something that makes sense to everybody of all walks of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's no longer that oh yeah, I stone, but or I get stoned, but you're not going to know anymore,
Right. Well, and it's some people like to come home and have a couple beers. You know what I mean? I like to come home and smoke a little and just chill. I also spent years dealing with clinical depression and anxiety and insomnia, and I was on a ton of medication for it. And I used cannabis as a way to cope day to day while I worked on myself through therapy and through creating positive habits in my life and changing my mindset every day. And it took a lot of years. And cannabis was a huge part of that because it wasn't creating another problem that the pills were creating,
Right.
And so that is really like where I saw such a huge potential. And I think that those of us that are considered stoners even are using cannabis because it helps us.
Yeah.
And that needs to be brought to light so that we can redefine that culture a little bit and show people that it's honestly much better, but no different than those that have a cigarette for stress. Right. Or have a drink at the end of the day. I think we need to normalize it in that perspective. and in food. We need to get away from brownies and munchies. We need to, what I do is, multi-course fine dining, and I utilize the plant in multiple ways and isolated terpenes, and I use powders and distillates and raw flowers, and So I create this experience that people haven't seen with cannabis yet, and I think that's where I think that's where it needs to be normalized is in food, because everyone needs to eat, everyone loves food. I think it's the best way to showcase something in a new way.
Oh yeah. No, I
So,
completely agree with that as well. And again, being someone who also suffers from like anxiety and depression too, and uses cannabis to help with those things. I think after I got my medical card, obviously everybody when they first start smoking, it's always back in the day, like high school days with the homies and shit like that.
Right.
But it wasn't until I got my medical card and I actually started using it like to cope with those things that I was like, oh shit, like there really is like medicinal benefits from this fucking plant. And I think pretty much from then is like pretty much why I've wanted to get my name out there, the brand out there with the homie here, you know what I'm saying, and kind of push for that normalization and show that you can still smoke all fucking day as long as you're being productive and doing what you got to do, you know what I mean? You just can't sit around all fucking day because you can abuse anything.
Right. Well, and I think that's one of the biggest driving forces for me is not being what everyone thinks I'm going to be because I'm involved in cannabis.
Exactly.
And I think that makes me want to work harder and be the hardest working man in the fucking room. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, man.
Because I don't have a marketing team behind me. I don't have a team of people, like I have a group of people that help me out, my friends, my close chefs that I work with that help me out on big events. But like everything I do is 100% 24/7 on me. And it's been interesting seeing like how people are like, you're a one-man show. How are you getting this much exposure?
Right.
And I think I keep telling people, I think that because I approach it from an educational standpoint, and I show people, I'm proving to, it's, actions speak louder than words. I'm proving to people on a daily basis that I am not the stereotype you think I am.
Oh, yeah.
And every single day I prove them wrong. And more people reach out to me and go, hey, I've been following you on social media for a while, and I thought you were just going to be another stoner. And then they're like, it's really awesome to see you break these barriers on national, platforms, talking about cannabis and the way you're doing it. Right. He's like, it's actually kind of inspiring. And I was like, man, see, this is why I do this, because people are starting to see the change. And it motivates me even more,
Mm-hmm. No, and I completely agree with that too. And I think another reason that like you've been able to get the crazy exposure and everything that you have too is just you have a fucking awesome personality. You have.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And your energy too, and like the way that you talk about things.
You're real. You
can tell that you really like truly care about what you're talking about. You can tell that you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. Yep. I think that I have to be vulnerable in a way that. I have to show people I'm still human. You know what I mean? I have to show that I have shitty days, and I have days that, are just absolute trash. But then I have days that I'm like, you know what? This is one of the best days ever. Right. And I think that vulnerability and that realness is why I've been able to build a solid foundation of audience and followers in Phoenix area, especially because I get on their level. And I show them what just good old fashioned hard work and putting your head down and just grinding it out every single day as hard as you absolutely can, and what you can do, and that's led me to do some pretty awesome things and be on some awesome shows and podcasts like this, and like it's just been an awesome ride. I have some things coming up I'm super excited about. Which are even bigger than I ever thought this could ever be as far as my dinners go. And I might be partnering with a local hotel that is going to turn themselves into a 100% cannabis friendly hotel. It's gonna be
shit.
downtown. Yeah, it's gonna be downtown.
Hell
And
yeah.
they want to bring the AZ cannabis chef experience 3 nights a week there on the
Definitely have to
rooftop.
check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it's gonna be like 10 seats for 3 nights, so 10 seats a night, 6 courses of infused sponsored dinners on the rooftop of the hotel.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so
We're sold. We're there.
yeah,
definitely.
so I'll be making that announcement here soon. I have a meeting with them this week and trying to get everything situated. But
Can we reserve seats now? No.
no, but don't worry. We're gonna have a PR event April 20th.
Okay.
So on the rooftop. So maybe I'll have you guys come out as my guests and be a part of that. It's gonna be a ton of other media people, food bloggers, and then we're gonna play the episode on Chopped. Hopefully, we're gonna get a projector up there and play the episode of Chopped and as it airs.
That would be awesome. Hell
Yeah. But yeah, man, like it's just I never thought it would be like this. I never thought the cannabis industry would change like this because 20 years ago when I started smoking, I was still buying shit on the street in the parking lot, hella shady,
Yeah, I feel it, man. Dude,
know?
even when I got my medical card for like the first week or two after I got my medical card, I would not go into the fucking dispo. I was like, nah, it just feels like a setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got buying for my DNA.
I mean, I still to this day will I'll hit up the homies and be like, hey, what do you have?
Right.
If I have
Just
to
in
go
case.
yeah, man, because I'm so used to that.
I feel it. I hit him up too. I'm just like, man.
Yeah. What do you
really
got?
Trying to go wait in that line today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, now that it's crazy. Like COVID, this whole pandemic was so crazy for the food industry, and especially, but for a lot of people. But out of that, my business has like quadrupled, and it's almost been like some days it's almost so busy it's scary because like I don't know how I can't handle it all.
Right.
I didn't realize that people wanted this type of cannabis food, like that. They were just very interested in this type of situation, and just like, and it's been kind of crazy that out of the pandemic.
Bet too now with 207 passing too, it's probably even more so than it was before.
Dude, these last 2 months, I've been busy at least I've had a dinner almost every other day.
Yeah.
I wish I would have been thinking of it before it's too late, but my birthday was just the other week, and I was like, man, I want a medicated birthday cake.
Yeah, man.
It doesn't have to be a big one, just one for me. I mean, I ended up settling for a chocolate bar from the dispensary, which was a 500 milligram one, and I didn't eat all of it at once. I ate about half of it, and then we went to the casino, and it hit me halfway walking through there, and I was debating whether or not it was working. And then I was on the way back to the bingo room, right? And I swear it hit me like a wave, and the bingo sign even shimmered a little bit, and I was like, whew.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna be a good night.
Dang.
And then I don't know if I told anybody this that night, because you guys ended up meeting us up there later.
Yeah.
But we were playing bingo, and the next thing I know, I'm like waking up, and there's some old lady almost like giving me the death glare from like 4 tables away. And like I wasn't sure if she was staring at me, so I would like look away, look back, and pretty sure she's staring at me. And I nudged my wife, and I was like, was I asleep? Like, how long was I asleep for? She's like, about 20 minutes.
You didn't wake me up?
Yeah. I was like, I wasn't snoring, was I? She's like, quietly. That's probably why that lady's staring at me.
Probably.
Dude, I did this dinner this past weekend. These guys flew in from Maryland, 12 guys flew in from Maryland, and we did this big old cannabis dinner, multi-course. This one dude, so all these guys went to college together, and they were in a frat together. So, and they're like, 5-6 years out of college, so they still like to drink and party.
Right.
So these guys put away like $400 worth of alcohol, right? And I'm like, hey, if you're gonna do a cannabis
for them.
Yeah, dude. I was like, if you're gonna consume alcohol, like don't smoke a lot,
right.
Or because you're gonna have a bad night. Well, these guys wanted to like live it up, so I was like, okay. This one dude, Dan, passed out at the table at like course 3 with his beer in his hand, and he's just sitting here, and he just starts like talking to himself in this crazy drunk like way too much cannabis stupor, man. For 20 minutes, this dude is having a conversation that nobody else is a part of. And we're just like all staring at him, like, what's going on, bro? And he's just like, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. So it's,
That's
yeah, man.
crazy.
You see it all. It's crazy.
For real, man. So I do have a question though. So whenever you prep your meals or like decide, like, how do you exactly decide like what you're gonna cook for your meals? Like, is there a certain process or like?
Well, I write custom menus for each client. So I get their likes and dislikes. I always have a question of, what foods do you like? What foods don't you like? Is there any allergies? Is there any dietary needs? Because that all figures into what I can make. Right. And then I kind of just be creative and, I take their thoughts and their ideas and I write a menu based on that. And 9 times out of 10, most of them like it. Sometimes I have to make little changes here and there, but it's fun and it creates something special for each client because they get to have a custom menu that was theirs that no one else had from me, That's awesome. And so, I try to keep it like that. Yeah, absolutely. I try to keep that tie so that, they have that memory.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, what are you guys smoking on over there?
So I got some modified bananas rolled.
Oh shit.
Yeah, as I say, he rolled it up, so I'm not sure.
You guys should check out if you guys like concentrates. Check out a company called Holo Extracts.
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad you actually said that too, because I was talking to him right before about them, and I was like, I have no idea how the hell to pronounce their brand. If it's Holo, so it's Holo.
Yeah, Holo. Yeah, Holo. Okay. Yeah, those dudes sponsor me. They sponsor my dinners. All their concentrates I use. I'm actually smoking on their cured batter right now. Their Snoop Dogg cured batter right now.
Ooh, nice.
But dude, they're local dudes. They make everything in AZ. They're like corporate dudes that came together and took all their money, quit all their jobs, and started a cannabis company.
I think that's the number one thing I love hearing about the cannabis industry is all the people that were from a different industry and they're like, yeah, we decided to said F it, quit our jobs, and we started something new. I'm like, dude, it's epic.
Well, the one dude I talked to mostly back in the 90s before he was in the corporate world, he was growing and like doing cannabis events in Europe and shit and winning prizes and stuff back in the 90s, and then stopped growing and then went to corporate world, made a bunch of money and was like, you know what, now it's like it's okay to do this now. And so they dumped a bunch of money into Holo. Their company's called Endo Farms, but Holo is their brand, and man, it's some of the best. So
I had some the other day actually. A coworker I give a ride home with, he picked up some. So of course he was like, "Do you want to try some?"
Okay.
And I was like, "Yes, I do." And I got to say, I can't remember the what strain it was, but I do know it was one of their batters, and it looked really, really almost like butter,
Yeah.
And I was like, that smelled good, looked good, and of course we took a couple hits out of the Puffco. So I got some. You really got the clean hit.
Are those things worth the money?
We actually we talked about this before because he has the knockoff.
The sock email. It's literally the exact same body as the fucking Puffco Peak, but there's like a plastic piece on the Puffco that's not on the sock.
But you set them next to each other, like they almost look identical.
And all the same parts for the Puffco fit it. I spent $80 on that one, and it works just as well as his Puffco.
And honestly, mine was given to me by a family member who quit smoking. So I honestly probably wouldn't pay the $300, but now that I have it, I love it. Like I now that I've used it and had it for so long, if it broke, I would probably save up my money and get another one. Honestly,
I'm having No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, even though the one he has is, half the price, if not like a third of the price.
Right. Well, I think the regular Puffcos are pretty cheap now because they just came out with the Puffco, the Peak Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time making myself pay that type of money for a Puffco.
That's exactly why I went with the sock, because I was like, if it's shitty, I only spend $80. So
that's where I'm at.
Right.
And you
can usually grab them at I've seen them at a couple smoke shops in the valley here for like $100. So
That's
not
not
too
bad.
bad.
And then you like that the Yokan I see you're using right there. They have the Yokan torch at a lot of smoke shops, which is like a attachment you can put onto a bowl of a bong.
Okay.
And it uses the same coil as all that, and it's like 40-50 bucks, you know, and you just throw it onto a bong. So
I like it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like it.
again, and we've used that, and it has different ways, you know, you can light it up and all that.
Pretty dope.
Yep, I like it. I would probably actually, if the Puffco broke, I'd probably go with that.
Interesting.
You know?
All right, I'm gonna check that out because I'm still rocking the old school, you know, nail and torch over here.
See, I still got my nail and torch too, because I'm just like, it definitely does not compare to like a real dab out of a rig, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it'll get you where you need to go.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know I've told you why I don't like torches, and plus, I do HVAC and plumbing work all day long, so I'm using a torch to braise stuff. So I don't want to come home and use the same
torch again.
Yeah, play with the torch again. And then we're out on the east side. We're in Apache Junction.
Oh, gotcha.
So I mean, like, the tweakers are the ones who have the torches out here. I don't want to be tied in with them, you know?
Yeah, that's the only thing I hate about old school dabbing is it's so like, yeah, it looks like you're just about to fucking hot knife some heroin or something.
Setups too, but I'm always scared that I'm gonna fucking knock them over or something because the wires and everything, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. No, you're good. You're good.
Light it.
Ooh, you want to take that?
Yeah. So, you used to do music.
Yeah, man. I started off in the music world. I was a professional drummer for a long time. I did a lot of studio work and then some touring. A couple bands that I built up, ground up, got signed. Did quite a bit of touring, and you know, it was fun, man. But the business of music was a pain in the ass,
For sure.
you know. And it just got to a point where it was just not fun anymore. And it just became a stress in my life. You know, and cooking was something I've always been doing, you know, since my whole life. So it was a natural kind of transition of creativity for me.
Sure.
And you know, and it just I love cooking for people. I love bringing people together over food. I think it's just that energy and that conversation that gets created, I think is just a lot of fun. So yeah, so I started off in the music industry, and then, you know, about 10 years ago made the official change to start just kind of cooking professionally.
Was that like an easy transition for you, would you say, because it was something like another passion for you, or what was the struggles you had from going from music to cooking?
Well, I think the biggest struggle was I didn't want to just be a line cook somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
I knew that I wanted to take this to a bigger spot. I didn't really know at the time how to market myself and how to make a name for myself. And so, like, I think that was probably the hardest struggle of just figuring out how to make this work, and kind of gain some notoriety to kind of go in a direction that I want to go. And so I think that was the hardest part. But I kind of realized it's almost the same as when I was in the music industry. You know, how to market myself, and so I learned a lot of that. And I think that I think the hardest part also was you know, working for some of these chefs. You know, that are, you know, some of these old chefs that are still in that, you know, scream at you all day long.
Right.
So
You know, that's
the Gordon
No, go
Ramsay
ahead.
thing is real, right?
Oh, it is in some kitchens, man, and and that's, you know, that's how they were trained, you know. And so it's a lot of people have to realize it's not personal most of the time, you know. It's business. But man, it's hard to work in kitchens for a long period of time when you're just getting screamed at all day long. You know, it makes you just like, ugh. So I think that also you know, was a hard part, but I think it also pushed me to want to do my own thing, you know, and kind of eventually, and which happened this year. I'm officially, you know, no longer working in restaurants anymore, and 100% working for myself. And yeah, man, thank you, man. It's been a long time coming, man.
That's a fucking accomplishment, though.
It really is. And it's I'm better working for myself than I am for somebody else.
Exactly.
I've always just been that type of, I want to do my own thing.
For sure, man. I completely feel it.
The
We're working
rebel.
hard for too.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, anything I could ever do for you guys as far as I help you guys out, you just let me know, man.
Hell
If
yeah.
I can help you guys out, I definitely will.
If there's any position where we can be there to support you, man.
For sure.
Like we're there.
Well, yeah, maybe in the future it'd be cool to have you guys do like a live podcast or something at a dinner, something like that.
We were actually just talking about that too. How we
that would be really cool.
Definitely, since you're local, we want to do some more work. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching the Netflix show and some of your live streaming you do with your fiance, your wife, is it?
Yeah, my girlfriend. Yeah,
girlfriend. Okay, well, me and my wife are watching it together even today. So I mean, you guys seem very humble, very cool. I'm like, man, that seems like people that we could hang out with.
Yeah, dude. Anytime, man. Come through. We were supposed to smoke some ribs today, but it didn't happen. So we're gonna smoke ribs in the next few days. But man, we should get together and chill and cook. And I live. Me and my girlfriend, we rent from one of my really good friends who's also a chef. And so we cook. He has got a big old fucking house that's got a big old kitchen, and he just bought a smoker and a grill.
Nice.
And so we cook. We just we made smoked elk tacos last weekend. And we were
I come from the sticks, so you're talking to me when you're talking about elk and all that. Like dude. So northern Arizona.
One of my clients, he's the pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. He lives out here. And so I did a dinner with him, and he's like, "Hey, you want 20 pounds of elk?" he's like, "I went hunting and I have like 300 pounds of elk. I don't know what to do with." And so he gave me like elk sausage and elk roast and elk steaks and a loin and like all kinds of stuff. So man, we'll have to
tacos. I grew up on those.
Man.
Elk jerky, man. My mom used to make, pounds and pounds of elk jerky.
Right.
And I would bring a Ziploc baggie to the school, and people would be on me like, "I'll give you $5."
Be like, shit.
One stick. There you go. $5.
Slang and jerky. Yeah, man. So we'll have to like do something to hang out, man. We're always
down. Been able to do some crazy things like because cooking and like the cannabis industry and stuff like that. What would you say is one of the craziest opportunities that you've had so far?
Well, I think. Okay, so I think that career-wise, I think that Netflix was probably like even though like I'm super proud to be on Food Network as well.
For sure.
Netflix was like the first national platform that I ever got to be on.
Right.
For doing something in my own name and my own brand, and being recognized for it. Mm-hmm. Even though I didn't win the Netflix show, it was a huge win for what I was trying to do.
For sure.
And I think that was probably my biggest moment was like going from a local cannabis chef to a national platform, and then everything that came out of that, all the sponsorships opportunities that have come out of that, and all the clientele that I've come out of that, the pro athletes that I cook for, and celebrities I've been able to cook for and stay in touch with, and like all of these things that have happened because of Netflix. I think that's probably still probably going to be my number one, because it was the first big moment. Right. Going just from a nobody chef to somebody that had something to say for a real purpose. For sure. And I think that's probably the one moment I'll probably remember always, because it was finally something, was all the years of hard work, I started to get some ROI on it, and it was just it was humbling at the same time. Like, man, I can really do this. It made me feel good,
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So you said, cooking for athletes and celebrities and all that. I've seen David Spade, Larry Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
I'm big fans of both those guys just because David Spade's hilarious.
For sure.
Born and raised in Arizona, you've got to be a Larry Fitzgerald or, Cardinals fan of some sort, even though it's hard at times.
Yeah, right.
So I was curious, because you know, what's the saying? If it's good food, not much many people are going to hear about it. But if it's bad food, like everyone's going to hear about it or something like that. So cooking for a celebrity, what was the nerves of that? You know, like, were you nervous? What was your thoughts when you're cooking for big names like that? You know?
Honestly, like I stick to who I am, man. I people are hiring me for a purpose,
For sure.
and I have to remember that.
So you're
I
like the
have to.
Iceman, huh? You're just like you paid me. I'm gonna come here and cook and do my
Well, I'm
thing.
gonna, yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do what I do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna treat them like a normal human being,
For sure.
and that
Okay.
always seems to create some really good energy. I come at them like a normal human, like, hey, you're just a guy I'm cooking for that's hungry, and they like that because they're celebrities. They get that. Oh my God, you are who you are
Right.
all day long.
Exactly.
And honestly, like when I cook for Larry Fitzgerald, that dude's chill. He is so chill.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to cook for him at a fundraiser event that he did. And so it was like this little private PR thing that we did. So he was just chill, man. He was calm. He was cool. He was like, yeah, man, whatever is good. Like he there was no pretentious energy. And so I've been lucky to kind of connect with a lot of people on that level. Because I just do my thing and I approach everybody the same way, and I think it's helped me along. It helped me cook for these people and create no weird energies, no awkward tensions, and keep me just doing my thing in my groove.
Like it.
Yeah,
That's cool. That was the first thing I thought of, because those are some big names. I was like, oh man, but so they did like it. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no worries. But I was just curious too, because I know that you said that you have partnered with Holo and other cannabis companies as well previously.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of ambition to possibly put out like your own line of like cannabis edibles through one of those?
I thought about it. I actually want to do like cannabis like salad dressings and like those types of things, like sauces, jerky, salads, jerky, salad dressings, jerky, sauces, those types of things. I would love to put out in the cannabis space. That's something that eventually it's going to happen, but I'm waiting for the financially. That's a hard thing to just upstart.
No.
But I have some opportunities to kind of possibly do that in a small way. Those things I'm working on and trying to figure out. But no, I definitely want to. I definitely think that it's going to be more gourmet, driven rather than edibles per se.
Right.
But
a little easier to kind of keep quality control on it as well that way too.
Yeah, right.
And I think we're definitely missing that in the market right now, because like you're saying before, there's the junk food, Like
right.
You go to Mint, you can get pizza, fries, all that stuff like that. But
yeah, I think the only thing that I've seen similar to that is like a hot sauce, maybe.
Yeah.
Not like no really like other.
See, I want to do like a vinaigrette and like a Caesar and a ranch,
right.
and all these salad dressings that everybody loves, but I want to infuse them.
Awesome.
Cannabis croutons and like infused croutons and shit like that.
Those are bad for me though, man.
I know,
that's
carbs
things that like some people just don't think of, and it's like once you put it out there, people would fucking eat it up.
Because I would just eat those croutons by themselves. I mean, I've been known to buy the box and just sit there and munch on them. So
I've been able to really like do some out of the box stuff, cooking for people and these dinners. Like, I did a foie gras chocolate truffle, and I turned it into like a sweet mousse, and and I tasted in chocolate and I infused that, So I've been showing people like it doesn't have to be brownies, it doesn't have to be, these things. It could be a fillet, it could be all these fancy things that you want, and I think people are like, holy shit, it's and plus when you consume cannabis in that way, it's much different than smoking it.
For sure.
And so you get a different feeling out of it. And so that's where you can really play with the senses, especially when you're using like isolated terpenes, and create all these different layers, almost like you're pairing pairing it like wine to the food,
Right.
And so it really kind of puts a fun little experience together when you start doing that for these people. So I think
Sure.
even celebrities, because it's a new adventure, and so of course people want to spend the money for it because it's new.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh man.
So digging into your past a little bit, I noticed in some of the interviews you said like, cooking with the family was a normal thing for you and all that. So like who in your
Yeah.
family really made that enjoyable for you?
Well, I come from a big family back then. I'm Portuguese and Portuguese and Italian roots in my family. So, growing up on both sides of my family, there was always, when there was a get together, there was everybody in the kitchen, everybody in the kitchen cooking, and everyone was doing this or that, and everybody was just, it was an energy, and so from an early age, that's always been something I loved because I loved when the family was around. I loved hanging out with my cousins. I loved having a meal with my family and just being around everybody. And so that kind of is a big reason why I love cooking for, private events. And that 8 to 10 people range, because it's just a cool energy, man. And
For sure.
it's a lot of fun. It's an intimate conversation. You can talk about the food and the cannabis and their experience and really just kind of get people talking in that energy. And so it's almost kind of for me like reliving it in a way,
Yeah. No, I
because
completely
as
understand.
as you get older, your family moves away and people change and things happen
For sure.
and so as part of it, it was kind of a cool way just to kind of relive that and kind of have that experience with other people as I go.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, especially coming from, because like my mom's side of the family is Italian and my dad's side is Hawaiian. So both
Oh
sides
yeah.
growing up, anytime there was any kind of like family gatherings and shit, there
Yep.
was always so much food, everybody cooking and shit. It was always super
Yeah.
fucking fun.
I love that
So I
stuff, man.
completely understand that fucking vibe and everything. And then like
Yeah.
having kids now too. I have 2 kids, and then my nephew's always around my house too. So like just all the time fucking cooking up tons of food for everybody. So kind of being able to, like you said, kind of relive that feeling and stuff.
Yeah, man. I love
fucking
that
awesome.
energy.
You're a pretty good cook. That cheesecake was amazing, even though I didn't get to eat all of it.
Yeah, this guy, I gave him a piece of cheesecake that was like 200 milligrams.
They gave me 2 pieces. One was 250, one was 100. That's what he told me that night.
Yeah.
So altogether, he's like, altogether, it's like 350 milligrams. I ate the 100 milligram piece because I had work the next day, right? So I just ate the 100 milligram, chill before bed. And I put it up to where none of the kids could get to it or nothing like that. And I clearly marked it and labeled it as dad's medicated. Well, none of the kids got a hold of it, but one of my dogs got up on top of the counter and ate the 250 milligram piece.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I wake up in the morning to get ready for work, and I find the dog passed out on the stairs, like not responding to anything tall, like less than a foot away from the dog, and it jumps up and pretty much noodles back down. And it gets back up again and noodles back down. I'm like, well, come on. I thought maybe I just startled her and she's waking up. She needs a moment to get her feet underneath her. And I was like, well, come on. And the dog's name's Whiskey. Because I love, when I have to yell for my dog stepping outside and saying, Whiskey. All my neighbors think I'm an alcoholic. So I called calling the dog. I'm like, come on, Whiskey, let's go. So she takes another step and like crumbles down. I'm like, all right, this isn't right. This isn't normal. I pick the dog up, take her to the couch, wake the wife up, come to find out that she did eat the cake.
Yeah, and then he texts me the next day and he's like, so I got a small piece of the cheesecake. And I'm like, well, what happened to the rest of it? He's like, the dog got it. I was like, dude, I told you that shit was strong as fuck.
What'd you medicate it with?
I just used shatter and then I decarbed it and threw it straight in.
You couldn't really taste it. That one piece that I ate, I mean, seriously, it tasted like a cheesecake like you could buy from the store. Like it was good. I thought it was good. He said he didn't think it was that good, but I was like, this is amazing. Hardly tasted it. Felt great. Wasn't too much. That 100 milligrams actually went really well for me. But yeah, that dog for 10 hours.
Oh man.
Could not walk straight up. I sat with the dog on the couch for a good 4 hours with its head just on my lap. I just pet her, watch TV.
Oh.
She pissed at least 4 times on herself and on me, and I cleaned her up each time, you know.
Oh.
This is a lesson to anybody
Damn.
watching.
Yes, lock
Put your
up.
fucking edibles up.
For
Lock 'em
real. Yeah.
So,
Damn. That's
and when we talked to
horrible.
the vet, my wife said that she noticed the cheesecake was missing by like 10 o'clock. And I wake up to go to work around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So the estimated time, you know, like 4 or 5 hours, like that was the danger zone for the dog. So if she was still, you know, breathing and not in a coma, then nothing else was going to happen to her. She was just going to have a really rough day.
Yeah, man. A hangover,
For
essentially.
sure.
Oh yeah,
for
so she
sure.
got to where she was walking around, but she wasn't walking straight.
Oh, man.
Swerving around.
Yeah, if we ever
Damn.
meet live in person, remind me of this and I'll show you the videos of it. Okay.
Oh, yes, please. It's
Even
both sad and hilarious all at the same time.
Right. That's what I was like. At first, I was like, dude, that's sad. And he's like, no, she's good now. I was like, all right, now it's fine.
Yeah, it was very scary and nerve-wracking at first, but once we realized that she was going to be fine, I was like, I feel so sorry for this dog because
Right.
she has no idea what's going on with her.
She just thought she was getting a snack.
Yeah, she's like, some delicious cake that Dad left out for me, and whoa.
When my Dachshund was a puppy, he ate a part of an edible because I was the dumbass that set it down on the coffee table for a second, like that was a smart idea, and he was like a year old, and he was like, "Oh, fine," and yeah, he was trashed for like a day. Yeah, he was trashed. It was not good.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So back to cooking with your family and all that. What was your favorite recipe to cook with them?
Man, honestly, like a lot of it was
All of them is acceptable.
yeah, I mean, like all the food that I loved as a kid have become flavor ideas and combinations as a chef, you know, like the way I make my garlic bread is how my grandma used to make it, you know. She would slice a loaf of bread 3/4 of the way through so that it was still attached, like an accordion almost. And she would butter and garlic each individual piece, right? And then she would butter the entire outside, wrap it in foil, and cook it at 400 degrees. So the outside was almost fried and crispy and buttery. And it was the best garlic bread in my entire life. The inside was like soft dough and garlicky. Dude, it was like melt in your mouth. It was the best bread I've ever had. So you know, I make my bread now like that. And I use it in different ways, you know, but that's something that stands out, you know. My grandma used to make this like stew, this Portuguese stew, is a peasant stew called soupish. I know it's like dough balls wrapped in cabbage with like carrots and meat and stuff, you know, but like that flavor, like I can still taste it when I think about it.
Right.
Because it was something that we made a lot of. It was a very Portuguese thing that was a peasant dish that became more of a holiday, you know, tradition.
Sure.
So, you know, there's those things that stand out to me because those were like cultural moments and bigger moments of something, you know, that I now use in my life today, you know. So yeah, those definitely stand out for sure.
Oh yeah.
And my dad's brisket.
Oh yeah, you can go wrong with the brisket there. Oh yeah.
But
well, Derek, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but before we let you go, did you have any words of wisdom for the fans watching, or anything you'd like to say?
you know, I think that everyone just needs to be you, man. Stop worrying about other people's opinions of you, because whether you do it right or whether you do it wrong, someone's going to have something to say about it. So you might as well just do your thing, man, because that's, you know, I struggled with my identity as far as who I wanted to be in the career path, like what type of chef I wanted to be, what type of musician I wanted to be, you know, and I was always worrying about, well, what are they going to think of me? And I've learned now that, you know, I'm going to be 35 here soon, that none of that really matters. Because when you're the happiest is when you're doing what you love because you love it. And, you know, I think that people just need to focus on what you love, be who you're going to be, and, you know, show people some compassion on the way, you know, and I think that that's going to open a lot of doors and make you a better human all around. So I'd have to say that.
I couldn't agree more, man. I could not agree more. But yeah, man, thank you again for taking the time
Absolutely.
out of your day to do this and everything.
Yeah, brother.
Really appreciate it. Super stoked to see all of your success come in. Can't wait
Yeah,
to see
man.
what you do next, man.
Yeah, man. Let's get together soon for sure. Stay in
Yeah,
touch.
let's do it.
Yes, keep us
All right,
in mind.
y'all, I
Also, that
appreciate you.
420. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, dude, I'll hit you guys up for sure.
For sure,
I
for
definitely
sure.
have to have you cook for me sometime. Like, I
Yeah,
gotta
man, we'll
taste
do
that
it.
food.
Oh,
So
Yeah, we'll do
looking
it.
forward to future work with you, man.
Yeah, brother, I appreciate you guys. You guys have a wonderful day.
You as well,
You
man.
too.
Thank you.
Later.
Good night.